Hello everyone, it is me, GamePing21, and while everyone else is covering Hi-Fi Rush in terms of what's actually happening in the gaming industry right now, uh, I decided to go a little bit rogue and cover some Harmon Smith for a couple of reasons. One is that I have another short that's going to be releasing alongside this because it's really funny. Also, it's pretty early in the morning and I'm also really, really tired because I haven't really slept. So yeah, this one is probably going to be released maybe on a Saturday. Also, happy birthday to me. That's right. My birthday was a couple days ago at the time of recording this. I posted a video at that point, but I'm going to post to this is going to be a double upload. So probably no video Tuesday, but there will be a video today to kind of tide you over until Tuesday. If this video does go up Tuesday, then just scratch what I said. In any case, this just seemed like an easy video to get through, and I might cover the other ones as well, as I am getting behind on videos, and I do need to make actual content for this channel. Can't rely on shorts all the time. But I digress. Today we will be looking at the golden age of gaming. Now, that might not seem like it's the end-all be-all worst thing to cover, but trust me when I say there is definitely a little bit of unhinginess to go off of in this video. So let's get to this.
Hello everyone, this is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful Rabbit Hole Lore and Frame, the upcoming Jaw the Dragon. With the release of Hogwarts Legacy and it far outstripping the success and popularity of Elden Ring, I think it's safe to say the next gen of consoles is here. Finally, after a handful of years, we're finally getting games that people actually want to experience and play. And honestly, it feels like this might actually be a more successful generation game-wise than the PS4 one was. You know,
Oh my god. Okay, so where do I begin with this? For whatever reason, he only says that just now we're starting to get some next generation games. For things like, again, Hogwarts Legacy. Now, I'm not going to fault him for, saying that Hogwarts Legacy is a good game, because everyone has an entitlement to their opinion. Absolutely. But I, for one, see this as the most interesting point of view to take, because of the entire controversy that's been surrounding the entirety of Hogwarts Legacy this entire time. And the fact that he's also bringing up that this is a far more successful thing than Elden Ring, which, by the way, he's still bringing that up, which is fucking hilarious. Like, that's absolutely fantastically hilarious that he's still bringing this up in a thing where it has nothing really to do with the topic. He just wanted to dunk on Elden Ring for whatever reason. But, in any case, saying that the next generation consoles is only just here now, kind of actually a fair assumption, but kind of also not. It's one of those things where it's like a little bit of a gray area, and I can see where he's coming from. But this is probably the only point that I'm going to agree on in this video. But I'm glad that he's at least acknowledging, all right, that the PlayStation 5 and the other consoles are there, because this is Harmon Smith we're talking about here. Gotta take the little things where they lie, but let's not give him too much credit and let's keep watching.
Actually seriously considered picking up Hogwarts Legacy. I actually do want to play it. If it wasn't for deeply held personal beliefs, I wouldn't be playing it right now. But for all intents and purposes though, like when you get right down to it, I think we are in this phase where we can't expect to see more games coming out on PS5 and Series X. We're going to go on Combat 12 soon. Tekken 8 is coming. I think Final Fantasy 16 is coming. Like, there are a lot of big major products coming out in the next couple of years or so. This is, I think, the PS5 and Series X's, the next generation's golden age period. This is going to be like the moment where, like, all these big budget games that have been developed since before the console was even launched finally start coming out, and we finally get a good sense of, like, where we're at, like, creatively, where the industry is going, what we can expect from these studios going forward, and just how good everything is going to be.
Again, I'm just going to stop it right here and say, I actually do, again, agree with a lot of what he might be saying. But at the same time, why is he saying all of this now is my big question. Because this is Harmon Smith that we're talking about here. Harmon Smith, the Nintendo fanboy, which I am surprised that he's even admitting to any and all of this. But at the same time, like, I understand and I get it, and it's neat and it's weird. But it's weird to be agreeing with him, but it's one of those sinking feelings that you get right before a big drop in a roller coaster where it's like, oh yeah, this is going to be fun, this is going to be fun. And you look down, it's like, oh no. Like, something here feels like it just is odd. And I don't know, it just doesn't feel genuine, but at the same time, it does feel genuine. it's weird. It's a weird feeling to me. Again, I do think that there is that him even acknowledging this is a step forward. But again, I've seen this video a few times now, and quite honestly, there is a couple of interesting bits and pieces here that's going to get real weird.
And it's an interesting generation because a lot of IPs from the last couple of gens have died. Metal Gear's gone. There are a handful of other properties I can name that aren't coming back or anything. Like there are all these things to talk about and to bring up, but it does.
But I'm not going to bring up any of them for whatever reason, and we're just going to move on to my next point. I mean, Metal Gear like died because Konami just basically has the rights to it, but they got rid of Kojima, and Kojima went on to make Kojima Productions, and then they're now making their own games. I mean, honestly, like that's kind of dumb to just say like that. But that's the only example that you give is like this one example of this one game that's not coming back. Like, what other games are not coming back? There's a lot of games that have come back into the limelight. In fact, like, one of the more popular games recently, as of right now, is Dead Space, like the remake of Dead Space. How is that not a game coming back from the dead? It's like, I know it's a remake and it's like the same story, but maybe like a few nuts and bolts kind of pushed onto it in a very creative and interesting and very good manner, and a nice, good update. Really good paint job right there, as well as updating the formula and updating the actual thing and like several different other factors. It's like, it makes sense for it to be upgraded because at the time, like back when it was like the tech was good, but at the same time it just wasn't like there. It was just like, but I don't know. It again. What other games? Like, give examples here. Like just saying, I can name several different examples. That's like saying again, like I have a very good gaming PC where we've seen that PC where it's just a standard looking laptop or whatever. Anyway.
Feel like there's a lot more enthusiasm around certain kinds of products this time, and it does kind of feel as if people are more gravitating towards like really genuinely good, interesting experiences rather than the stuff that like the corporate suits want you to play. Like Multiverses, it had a big shill campaign for the first couple of months, dropped off the face of the earth, right? Suicide Squad looks like it's going to be a complete disaster.
I mean, again, I agree that Multiverses had this huge, big campaign, and I don't think that the game itself is like dead. I just haven't seen much or felt the need to go back much and play it. So yeah, I agree with him there. Same thing with Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, which is the upcoming game, does look fun. But at the same time, I'm tentative for it. I personally do really actually want to play it because it looks really fun and has some of the interesting characters there. Like, I want to do Deadshot stuff or go in there with King Shark or something like that. Like, that looks fun, but we haven't seen much of it, and that gives it a little bit of a weariness. But again, these other examples is like, I give 2 examples of games that are coming out, which is like, which is, it's better than the one example of just this game that came out and completely flopped. It's like, I don't know. Let's just continue here.
Been all these other games that have come out, been hyped up, and kind of been forgotten after a couple of weeks. But on the flip side, you have games that people seem to actually enjoy. You have stuff like Elden Ring. You have stuff like Hogwarts Legacy. Like, I'm sure Tekken.
But wait, hold on. I thought that you hated Elden Ring. Isn't it in the last video that I covered of this? You said that you hated Elden Ring. Why are you saying now that a lot of people love it? Like, what the heck is going on here? I am so confused. Where is your point? Where is this going?
It's going to be popular. Like, it feels like there is starting to become a divide between, like, actual serious gamers and people who are just, like, latching on to, like, the new popular thing, right? And I'm curious, how severe this divide is going to be going forward. Like, I'm serious. I'm wondering just whether we're going to see more companies go under in the next couple of years. And like, I do think there are a handful of companies that we can expect to like have massive failures. For example, Square Enix. They've been making nothing but bad decisions for years now. Final Fantasy 16 looks like it might be a franchise killer. We haven't seen enough of that to really talk about in any meaningful capacity. But
huh? Okay, while I agree that some companies might tend to go under after a while, in fact, one of the more interesting ones is that uh, I know that this was meant for, I think, another video or something like that. I don't know if I still have the tweet kicking around somewhere, but at the same time, there was a tweet that I saw where someone said, like, oh, someone thinks that this is bad news, and it was the news that there was a studio under Square Enix that was being absorbed into something or other, that was being absorbed into Square Enix because they were the people that made Forspoken, from what I could tell. I'm not sure if it was they were being absorbed into Square Enix or something like that, but they made Forspoken. Forspoken didn't sell too well, according to the numbers or whatever, and that studio is now being absorbed under the publisher of Square Enix because they were their own team or something like that, and they published this game, and they were like, we made the game, but we're still going to be now under this new management or something like that. I'm expecting that we could see more of that, but that's like saying that that it will rain at some point. It's like that's just inevitable for certain things to happen, at least in this industry. So it's a safe bet. At the same time, some of the other points he's made, this is just confusing me right now. Like, what is your point of this video? Like, I know that this is a very positive and interesting video, and apparently he somehow looked outside and realized, oh wow, there's a lot of divide and stuff with this people have. Do you not think that you're the person that's latching on to these like older, like these specific things? It's like, play the clip, the meme clip. Anyway.
It seems like that might be the case. It seems like we might actually have the situation where Square Enix just puts out a Final Fantasy game and it doesn't really take off. It has too much stiff competition from other properties. We have like God of War Ragnarok.
I mean, it did pretty well in consideration, and I think it actually did do much better than the original God of War. Or if you're talking about pure sales numbers as of today, yes, the God of War Ragnarok didn't sell as well, due to maybe that it was a sequel. But at the same time, it still sold pretty well.
Ragnarok didn't do as well as the original God of War. Horizon Forbidden West failed.
It didn't fail. It got like completely buried by Elden Ring because it just came out at a bad time. Similar to Forspoken, where Forspoken got buried underneath Hi-Fi Rush, and that a lot of people that were talking about Hi-Fi Rush were like, oh, this is such a good game. It's like really cool that they shot it off this. And then everyone else is like, well, what about Forspoken? Forspoken is like this big AAA game. And yeah, I think that it's more or less just that those games didn't sell as well, at least Horizon Forbidden West and Forspoken, mainly because they came out around the same time as certain other games that just did some of the same stuff, or did at the same time do what they did, but better, if that makes sense. Where I think that they originally intended to release them against these games, maybe not against Hi-Fi Rush in that context, but I think they decided to push Horizon Forbidden West into that same sphere as Elden Ring, mainly because they wanted to see, like, they wanted to just put up their dukes with Elden Ring. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, moving on.
You know, like it just seems like the PlayStation bubble has kind of burst. You know, like in that sense, where like the big notable exclusive titles on PlayStation, the ones that people were hyping up as like the best in the industry, they are falling by the wayside in favor of superior Nintendo exclusives.
And there it is. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I immediately fucking knew where that was going, even before he started to talk, and I am so happy that he got to his point. He's like, yes, superior Nintendo exclusives and stuff like that. It's like, no. He was so close. This is like the one step forward, two step back thing, where it's like, yeah, we're reaching this amazing golden age of this stuff, but still Nintendo is doing fantastic and doing well and stuff like that. And all these other game companies are going to start to fall under the wayside. It's like, oh my god, beautiful, beautiful serendipitous. Let's continue.
And the superior multiplats, stuff like Hogwarts Legacy, stuff like Elden Ring, stuff like that. Like, I think more and more we are going to see that there is going to be more of a rejection of a lot of these titles that are supposed to be like the big new thing from PlayStation and Xbox. You know, Halo Infinite didn't do very well. I'm really interested in seeing where this goes from here. This is probably going to be like a big period of growth for PS5 and Xbox Series X. This is going to be the period of time where they like pull in the most consumers when they're putting out the most games. How exactly is this going to stack up against the competition? I am really excited to see that play out.
And like that, the video is over. And I'm going to be honest, again, that last little bit there, probably will cut it out. Because it's just speed it up to kind of save some time on the video. To be honest, that whole bit with him talking about that, just, again, it's one of those things where you can tell that he does read, and he does seem to do that whole, like, thing there. So maybe this is not a 1 step forward, 2 steps back type of deal. Maybe it's like a 2 step forward, 1 step back type of deal, where he seems to have gotten it he seems to have gotten the message and understood where he's coming from, and gotten forward 2 steps into the industry, and, you know, kind of stuck his head out from the basement wherever he sits and exists, wherever. But he took that 1 step back where it's like, Nintendo is still doing fantastically. They're still like the market leader. They're still working it hard to the bone and stuff like that, not realizing that Nintendo's products are, while good, still underpowered and still have their own problems, and that Nintendo probably should get some sort of new Nintendo Switch or something like that in the works. Hopefully. That's like something that, like, as for me, I would like to see. But it's probably not going to happen. But I don't know. What do I know? I'm not a business expert or anything. In any case, I think that I've kept you long enough. It was just going to be a quick little one today. Nothing too special, nothing too interesting. But at the same time, this is one of those videos where I just don't have much else to say other than I agree with some of his points, but I also don't agree with some of his other points. In any case, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and do all the stuff that YouTubers tell you to do. This video was an interesting one, and a peace off.